looks like we got some more Disney news for you guys. Tons of stuff going on with the new Snow White movie, and there's a lot of conspiracies going around on what's actually going on with it. Like, now there are actual dwarves. And the band of merry, diverse people we saw aren't the dwarves. And Rachel Zegler wasn't in those shots. Lots of crazy shit going on with the Snow White stuff. So we're gonna go over this article and see what the hell's going on, see what we can figure out about this stuff. But before we do, guys, make sure you smash that like button, make sure you subscribed, and make sure you share this video out. So let's get into this mess that Disney created. The Walt Disney Company releases first look at Rachel Zegler's Snow White, delays film's release an entire year. That's right, it's no longer coming out in 2024, it's delayed to 2025. The Walt Disney Company released a first look at Rachel Zegler's upcoming Snow White film while also revealing that the movie will be delayed an entire year. The Hollywood Reporter notes that Disney pushed back Snow White from its original release in March 22nd, 2024 to March 21st, 2025. The outlet alleges the delay is due to the ongoing SAG-AFTRA strike. So they're saying it's not because they're doing reshoots. It's not because they're adding the dwarves. It's not because they're getting rid of the merry band of diverse weird fuckers. It's simply because of the strike. But totally, we'll just buy that for now. However, the Walt Disney Company also released a first look at Rachel Zegler alongside what appears to be 7 dwarfs. Given the appearance of the dwarfs, it's possible that the film will undergo significant reshoots once the strike has ended. It's going to go through reshoots regardless. The only question is, are the dwarfs there before the strike or were they after the strike? That's where I'm kind of curious. And let's take a quick look at this CGI. So here we go from discussing film. This looks terrible. And granted, I shit on the CGI for the last couple of years, so maybe it's just me and my fucking hate for everything that's come out for the last couple of years, but this looks terrible. You know, part of me almost wants to put like a Brazzers logo in the bottom corner of it. I might have to do that for the thumbnail. It's a note for future me while you're editing this video. But yeah, no, it looks absolutely terrible. I mean, technically there's 7 dwarves, they're in a tiny house, but that doesn't, like, why go with CGI? Like, we saw the original pictures that got everybody like, what the fuck is this shit? Where they actually have at least 1 dwarf. Now they're all CGI? Yeah, because, you know, I guess fuck paying dwarf actors, we'll just do it in CGI. But I mean, I guess that's all Peter Dinklage is doing, right? Saying, hey, we should not hire dwarf actors. Oh, good, we don't have to pay people, we'll just CGI it out. The fuck? Fuck you. So back to the article. The idea that the movie might undergo significant reshoots and thus might be the true reason for the delay is because the Daily Mail previously published images from the set of Snow White showing a number of actors that looked nothing like the dwarves in the first look. Yeah, and here's the images. I went over that in some previous videos. They all look like dirty fucking hippies. And of course, you got the actual guy that's a dwarf in the front. And I've heard some theories. And there's some people saying this is a Prince's band of merry fucking bandits or whatever. Right, because it's not a Prince anymore because, you know, Disney just wants to shit all over itself. Following images of these actors being published by the Daily Mail, a Disney spokesman told the Daily Beast the images were not from the Snow White production. These photos are fake and not from our production. We are currently trying to have the Daily Mail issue a correction. And this is where it gets a little bit weird. The Daily Mail would update their story, but made it clear the photos were not fake and were indeed from Disney's production. An update on the article said, the article has been amended since the initial publication to correctly identify the actress portraying Snow White as an extra who stood in for the post-production photography. Disney confirmed that the stand-ins were used for both Rachel Zegler and Andrew Burnap in these images. We are happy to clarify this point. So Disney says the images are fake. The Daily Mail issues a correction saying they're not fake, they're just stand-ins. But you don't dress up stand-ins for dwarves. And if they're stand-ins, they're also not the fucking band of people running around with a prince who's not a prince anymore, because that's fucking weird. And if Disney was always going to have dwarves in there, they could have just put this shit out and said, no, look, we have the dwarves. But they didn't. They waited till now, when the film's delayed another year, to say, no, we're actually having dwarves. Don't listen to all this stuff and don't ignore the stuff you saw previously. We have dwarves. It's cool. Just trust us, bro. Which I don't trust Disney at all. Fuck the amount of shit that they fucked up. Fuck Disney. Following the Daily Mail's update, a Disney spokesman informed The Independent the images that ran in the Daily Mail are not official film photos. Well, no fucking shit. You're not going to publish pictures of your cast while they're standing in front of a camera crew and be like, no, this is totally part of the movie. This is all fucking wordplay for Disney to get around the bullshit. These show stand-ins for some talent and do not feature Rachel Zegler or Andrew Burnett. Yeah, well, no shit. But again, they're not saying that wasn't what they were doing. They're saying those aren't the actual people they're using. They were just stand-ins, which makes it doesn't add up. You don't go from saying these are made up photos, not from the production, to, well, they technically are photos of the production, but they're just stand-ins, to, well, now we have the dwarves and all this other shit you can just ignore that never really happened. It sounds like Disney is reshooting a lot of this film to put in the dwarves and get rid of this diverse merry band of weirdos. A Disney spokesman has also previously addressed criticism levied at the film from actor Peter Dinklage. Dinklage lampooned the films during its appearance on What the Fuck with Maron, where he said, well, you know, it's a really progressive to cast a literally, no offense to anyone, but I was a little taken aback by, they're very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So, okay. It looks like the rest of the article is just getting into shit I've already covered. Yeah, so essentially Peter Dinklage says, no, I'm the only dwarf you can hire. You shouldn't hire dwarves. That's a bad thing. So he's the only one that can do it because, you know, you got to pull that ladder up behind you so no one else can make fucking money or be in a movie but you. Fucking bastard. Somebody really needs to punt him off a cliff. So it looks like they go into more articles where he said some shit about dwarf actors and how they shouldn't hire anybody but him. Film has also come under criticism for following his newer comments. Film has also come under heavy criticism for following numerous comments about how it is diverging from Disney's original animated movie. Yeah, the one where she said this weird, calls the prince a fucking stalker. How she's terrified of the movie, but she dressed up as Snow White as a kid and loves the movie, but she hates the movie. Yeah, she's a bit retarded. So again, this article is just rehashing all the other shit we've seen before. Yeah, so just journalists reiterating their points so they can seem smarter than they are. Anywho, I'm just fucking with you guys. You guys do great work at Bounding. Just tone it back a little bit. Don't become like CNN. Be proud of yourselves. Do better. So anyway, so yeah, we've got a weird fucked up timeline for this fucking movie where there's no dwarves, then there are dwarves, there is no prince, but there is a prince. Snow White is now Latinx, and now we're delaying it for a year, and there's going to be reshoots, and it's not really reshoots because it's because of the strike. None of this shit makes any sense to me. I think they're doing reshoots. I think they're reshooting a bunch of the movie, putting in the dwarves, and I would be surprised if we actually see any of those people from the original leak in the movie. But guys, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments section. Do you think Disney's reshooting this entire movie because they got so much fucking backlash? Or am I just jumping to conclusions here? Leave your thoughts in the comments section. While you're there, make sure you smash that like button, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you share this video. It really does help. But until the next one, guys, be easy like sleazy.